All right, everybody, my name is Jacinto Salazar. I'm the Transfer Success Coordinator here at CSUMB. I work in the Transfer Student Success Center, and you're going to hear more about what we do later on in the week. But today is the first day of CSUMB Transfer Week, and today's theme is nuts and bolts. And so today we have with us folks from admissions, folks from financial aid, and folks from our first year experience program. And they're going to give you information about some things that you need to know and make sure that you meet some dates and deadlines and just some cool stuff that we have going on for transfer students. They're going to present right after each other, one after each other. And then after that they're done, we're going to have a chance for a Q&A. So if you have questions, you can drop them into the chat, or you can wait until the end and unmute yourself. The other thing that we're going to be doing is the peer mentors that are here with me in the Transfer Center are going to be dropping links into the chat as the presenters mention different things that they're talking about. So be sure to grab those links. We're going to send that document out to everybody as well. But if you wanted to make sure that you wanted to check out a link or do something that you need to do that's more timely, make sure you drop or grab that link as soon as it gets dropped into the chat. So with that, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to our first presenter today, which is Eddie Chavez from the admissions department.
Great, thank you, Jacinto. Hello, everyone. My name is Eddie Chavez. I'm one of the admission counselors here at Cal State Monterey Bay. I usually work with students from Hartnell College and from Los Angeles area, San Diego, and Imperial Valley. So if you happen to reside in those areas, if you happen to have any questions, please reach out to me. All right, so now that you have been conditionally admitted to CSU Monterey Bay, congratulations. Now the next step, it will be to submit your enrollment confirmation. If you haven't had a chance to do so, this is the way you can do it. You can go to your dashboard, and as you can see on the screenshot right there, there's a link where you can actually pay your $100 enrollment confirmation that will secure your spot for the fall. After you submit your enrollment confirmation, it will take about 2 business days, roughly, and then you can actually register for new student orientation for transfer students, and also for housing if you're looking at living here in our campus. Also, we encourage you to submit your not only your enrollment confirmation, but also in there's a lot of information where you can see about your financial aid package. And Alma will be talking about it shortly about that. Next slide, please. All right. So the next thing that is very important to make sure that you submit your transcript. So any official transcript from the college that you attended that will need to be submitted to us by July 8th. So plan accordingly. We suggest if you can do it, submit it electronically, it will get to us quicker than sending it by mail. So please do so. And also you can see on your dashboard, you can see if the transcript have been received, or in the event that you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, which our contact information is on the next slide, please. So this is where you can contact us in case, for whatever reason, you're not able to see your transcript on your dashboard, or if you happen to have any questions related about admissions, please reach out to us. Here's our contact information, 831-582-3738, or you can send us an email to admissions@csumb.edu. Thank you so much. And I'll pass the mic to, I believe it's Alma. Or is it Casey? I think it's Casey. There we go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alma Martinez. I'm the lead financial aid counselor here at CSUMB. Welcome. So I am going to give you a few reminders. First of all, if you are interested in financial aid, or if you're planning on using financial aid to cover your expenses, make sure that you complete your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. Priority deadline is from October 1st through March 2nd. However, if you have not completed your FAFSA, don't worry, you can still complete it. We will still be able to award you financial aid. Now, CSUMB scholarship will open up again on October 1st, and it always runs from October 1st through the 2nd week of February. It's an online application, and you will find it on our website. Now, all students by now should have been awarded financial aid. All of you should have access to your estimated award letter. If you have not, there may be a few reasons why you haven't. I highly recommend for you to check your FAFSA. Make sure that you add CSUMB to your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. If you haven't, not a problem. Our school code is right here on this presentation, 032603. Let's say if you haven't, when you add it in, give us like 5 days, then follow up with us. We will pull it and we will, assign you an estimated award letter right there and then. Now, another thing that it is very important is to make sure that you check your to-do list. You're gonna have access to your to-do list through your OASIS. So if financial aid needs additional documents from you, this is what we're gonna let you know. So please make sure that you check that, and that if you have items there and if they seem confusing, if you don't understand them, give us a call, let us know, and we will help you, okay? Next slide. So now we will be open throughout the summer. Our office hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So make sure you check your emails. If you have items on your to-do list, we only accept documents via regular mail or in person. So if you live around the area and if you prefer to drop those documents in person, come on over. We will be open from 9 to 4, even during the summer, okay? Now, payment deadline is August 1st, 2022. That means that by then, all your items on your to-do list, if any, need to be clear. You need to make sure that you accept enough financial aid to cover your charges, and then you'll be set to go. Now, if you're planning on taking out student loans, remember, during orientation, you have to do the loan entrance counseling. So during orientation, we give out a general financial aid presentation. Then right after, we start with the loan entrance counseling. If you're gonna be using student loans, you need to stay there. Otherwise, we will not be able to pay those loans on time. Next slide. And once again, like I mentioned before, we will continue to be open throughout the summer. That is our, can you go back one slide, please? Thank you. Oops, no, the following. That is our mailing address. So if you're not in the area and you need to mail us documents, that's the mailing address. Or phone number or email address, financial_aid@csumb.edu. Drop-in Zoom hours. Now, the drop-in Zoom hours are located on our website. If you want to talk to a financial aid counselor one-on-one, this is the place to do it. Join in, we will give you privacy. You're gonna be, it's one student with one financial aid counselor. We can go over your financial aid. We can go over questions that you have regarding your financial aid. Please make sure that you get in contact with us there. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that as the date approaches for you to start the semester, in June, we are gonna be emailing you your official award letters. This is gonna be your official financial aid package where you need to accept or decline your financial aid. In addition to that, it is also important for you to register with Bank Mobile. Financial aid will issue refunds through Bank Mobile. So in order to avoid any delays with your financial aid refunds, make sure that you use, that you register with Bank Mobile, and the link, you can find it on our website as well. And with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Casey.
Thank you, Alma. Good evening, everyone. My name is Casey Turpin, and I'm your first year experience program specialist. So you've probably been receiving communications from our office regarding orientation, which is what I'm going to talk to you about more today. If you need to reach us, that's our contact information. The next slide, please. So for your fall 2022 orientation, there's a couple of things to know. First of all sessions are mandatory for new students to complete prior to the fall 2022 session. So there are two parts. The first part is either an in-person orientation, which will take place on June 17th and June 18th, or a live virtual orientation session, which is offered on June 21st. For our second part of orientation, there is a self-guided online orientation, which we will send you all information about after the fact to continue to orient you to campus. Our orientation webpage contains all important information about what to expect for orientation and how to register. For the next slide, please. Now, to detail how to register for orientation, the first and most important step is that you must have paid your $100 enrollment confirmation fee, which Eddie mentioned earlier in this presentation. After that, it takes our system about 24 to 48 hours to recognize you and input you into our campus groups, or what we like to call MyRaft system. From there, you'll just go to our website, click on the date that you would like to attend, and specifically select one of the dates listed under the transfer orientation registration headline. And from there, you will sign in to the campus groups using your CSUMB login and your Otter ID and password. Now, please keep in mind that you only need to attend one of the 3 offered sessions, and we highly encourage you, especially if you're local to the area, to attend in person. It's a really great way to connect, meet other incoming transfer students and people from your major. The deadline to register for orientation is June 3rd, and the deadline to pay your orientation fee will be August 1st, which is the same as all the other fees that Alma was mentioning in your package. Go ahead and go to the next slide, please. This is a visual representation of what it looks like to register for orientation. So first you'll go to our website and you will click on one of the 3 dates that you would like to attend. And when you go to log in, you will click on CSU Monterey Bay login using your Otter ID and password. And finally, you will register yourself and any guests that you would like to bring with you. Next slide. If you'd like to bring any guests, there's an additional fee of $40 per person, which must be paid prior to attending orientation. You can do this by following the link in the email sent out to you, and you will go to CashNet, click on View All, and then select Orientation Fee. Next slide. From there, you'll select Guest, and then you'll input however many number of guests that you would like to have attend orientation. And anybody over the age of 2 must be registered as a guest for orientation. From there, you'll just pay as usual with a credit card. And that's pretty much it for registration. Now, the exciting part, if you can switch slides, please, is where we get to tell you what to expect upon entering CSUMB. So in terms of orientation, you'll get to hear about the benefits of being involved in our community. You'll meet other peers of yours, especially other transfer students and classmates. And you'll also gain on-campus connections through your orientation leader, as well as hearing from an academic advisor within your major. For our summer session with the online self-guided orientation, that is due on July 31st. And we will continue to communicate to you on a weekly basis through our newsletter called Tuesdays with Monty. You're probably already receiving some information. It will continue to help you to follow along with that, to get information on getting oriented to campus as a whole. And the summer is a really great time to ask any questions, get assistance, and ultimately to make connections on campus. And our office is happy to help you find those connections, but also orientation is going to be your starting point there to begin making connections with others. And then looking into the fall semester, what we like to call our welcome back week is Otter Days. And that will run from August 19th through the 28th, beginning first with move-in and some other special events such as new student convocation, our welcome back barbecue, college mixers, and much, much more. It's a lot of fun, and we're really excited to have you join us. I will pass it on back to Jacinto.
Thank you, Casey. And so we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap up the presentation and then have some time for question and answers and just kind of general checking in about different things that you might be confused or concerned about. But I definitely want to remind you about the rest of the day's sessions. So tomorrow, same time, same link. There's going to be Education Abroad, Otter Student Union, Otter Cross Cultural Center, Student Life, Undergraduate Research Opportunity Center. And then Wednesday, we have Advising Career Development, Cooperative Learning Center, and Student Disability Resources. Thursday, we're going to have Basic Needs, Health and Wellness Services, our Personal Growth and Counseling Center, Student Housing, Residential Life. And then finally, to wrap it all up, Friday is going to be the Transfer Student Success Center, which is myself and the peer mentors that I get to work with. We're going to have a transfer peer mentor panel where we're going to ask some questions and talk about their experience, about what it's like to be a transfer student. And then if we have time, we'll also do a CSUMB trivia Kahoot. So make sure that you come to each of these sessions to get as much information as you can, to be prepared and informed, not only for the rest of the year, but also for orientation as you go into that experience, so that you can have better information and ask more informed questions, because all these different opportunities that you have to engage with CSUMB is definitely a lot of information, and we know it can be overwhelming, and we just want to give you as much information and as much preparation for not only each one of them, but also for the fall semester as we can, because the idea is that we want you to be successful. And so if you're going to be successful, that means that we have to do our part in getting you connected to people like the 3 folks that you heard from today, and then also making sure that not only do you understand the resources, but you understand why they exist, why they're important, and how and when you need to engage with them. So make sure you attend the rest of our sessions this week. There's a QR code right there, and that is a way, if you're not on your phone, go ahead and scan that. And if you are on your phone, I'm going to have the peer mentors drop that link in there. That's to our campsite bio. It's our social media landing page. It has all of our information that you might need in terms of social media and contact. We have an Instagram account, so you can follow us if you have that. We have a Facebook group, you can join that. We have a YouTube channel. We have a LinkedIn page. All those things and ways that you can join are located on that social media landing page. We also put information about our events that we have throughout the year, and also some resources. So make sure you bookmark that page, scan it right now, or grab that link. And again, you're going to have an opportunity to get this later when we send the video recording out to you. And then also the links when we're all done with all the sessions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to, thank our presenters today. So to Eddie, to Alma, and to Casey, if you can give them a virtual round of applause, celebration, clapping emoji, whatever you like the best. We really appreciate their partnership in making sure that transfer students are supported and know that they're welcomed on our campus. And so now I want to transition to our question and answer session. And if I can ask the peer mentors if they can pull out some of those questions that were asked in the very beginning in the chat, so we can honor those questions first. And then after we get through those, what we can do is give folks an opportunity to unmute themselves and ask them questions on their own. So I don't know if Miranda or Maddie has any questions that you've pulled out that you can see that were in the chat from earlier.
There was one question that was specific. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, but he said that when he clicked for register for orientation on his dashboard, it took him to a page that said that website didn't exist or it has been removed. I don't know if there's a specific reason or if anyone knows why that is.
I might need to connect with Eddie on that afterwards. I think there's an issue if you go from the admissions portal specifically, but if you go to MyRaft, and I believe we can send the link again, you shouldn't have any issues so long as you first submitted the enrollment confirmation payment But then secondly, that you waited about a day or two so that we can make sure that you're in the system. It does take a little bit for that to happen. And if you've done either of those things, another good option just to troubleshoot, and I've seen this work for other students, is to open your browser in an incognito window. So sometimes without even knowing it, I've found that students are still signed in maybe your personal email instead of your CSUMB email, even though you might think that you've logged in with your Otter ID. And so that'll just block you from registering. So those would be my 3-step option for you, and hopefully that works.
Thanks for that response, Casey. Other questions, Maddie and Miranda?
One of our first questions that might apply to other people was, can I apply for scholarships? EFC is considered high.
Yes, yes, you can. Scholarships are based on merit, not income. So yes, definitely.
And another good question that was in the chat, does the admissions office have drop-in Zoom hours?
Yes, so admissions, if you would like to go, you can go to the admission page. There's a link on the top that says connect. Once you go under connect, you'll be able to take a look at the counselors, and it goes based on your alpha. So based on your last name, you can select, we have the drop-in hours, so you can, if you have like a quick question, it's usually 15 minutes. So you can actually have that option. And the other one will actually be a preliminary admission counseling. So that will be 30 minutes. And also will be, if you happen to have any questions about like the classes that you're taking, or if you would like to send us a transcript before, so we can do an evaluation just to kind of give you more feedback on the classes that you may need to complete before applying to CSUMB. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Yeah. We have another question about how someone can meet with an academic advisor and figure out how to register for their classes.
I can answer that. It's a little too early to register for classes. Please wait until after you've attended orientation and you've met with your academic advisor. And at that point in time, they'll provide you with more information on how to add classes to your shopping cart. And if you need additional assistance, you can continue to meet with your advisor one-on-one. But at this point in time, it's a little too eager. But I do appreciate the excitement for classes. We're excited to have you all.
Yeah, thanks for that, Casey. And I would just add that major advisors are sending emails or going to be start sending emails to all their students with instructions and information in order to prepare them for orientation. And at orientation, like Casey said, you're going to be able to meet with your major advisor to go over everything that you need to know, so that when your registration date comes, which is the week after orientation, you'll have all the information you need to register. And so be sure you're checking those emails, you're reading them, especially the ones from your major advisor, and understanding them. And if you have questions about those emails, make sure you email your major advisor for any clarification. But really important, check the emails, attend orientation, and you'll be good to go.
We have a few questions about when they receive their CSUMB email, or if they already have, or how to find that if they make it.
Yeah, so the email, you will receive it after the student orientation. So it's coming. So once you had been fully matriculated, you will be receiving your email that it will end with csumb.edu. So just be patient, and once you actually attend orientation, you will be provided with an email with instructions to activate or use your email for CSUMB.
We have another couple questions about orientation. There's one that says there's an orientation date specific for local community colleges. One is a better date option than the other, or like if they moved and they're now considered local, can they attend that one? Does it matter?
Great question. So any of the dates are open and available for students. So please select what's best for you. Now there's a couple of considerations. So the Friday June 17th is considered our local community college day. It's when we're hoping to bring in anybody who's from the local area. However, if you're outside of that, and that's the date that works best for you, that's awesome. Please register and secure that spot. Saturday is a larger catch-all day for us and supporter session available. So can everyone still hear me? I got your unstable message. Okay. So it will also happen to be when there's a Spanish speaking supporter session. So if you have anybody who's going to be attending with you as a guest and their first language might be Spanish, I might have you consider attending on Saturday instead as a better option for you. And Tuesday is going to be the option that's available for anybody who's maybe out of state or traveling from a really far distance, because our orientation sessions will be hosted virtually. I hope that answers that question.
I'm sure you'll let us know if it's otherwise, but thank you. Is the $100 orientation fee different from the $100 they already paid to commit?
So I believe I answered that in the chat, but it's a $100 enrollment confirmation deadline, and that goes through admissions. After that, you'll register for orientation, and that fee is automatically assessed. You don't have to worry about paying it until August 1st. It'll show up with all of the other fees that you have, and it'll be subtracted from any financial aid or anything that you get. So you don't have to pay for orientation up front, except if you are bringing guests, which are $40 fees. So please do that enrollment confirmation. That is a separate one, and that might be locking you out from being able to do any of next steps. We need to know that you're confirmed for CSUMB.
And then we are getting a few questions regarding housing, when the housing application opens and when they need to fill that out.
Yeah, so for housing, you will be, like I said, so you will need to wait at least 2 business days, and that's when you'll be able to go into My Housing. There's 2 steps that you can actually, fill out the application and pay the $200 deposit. But I highly encourage you to come in on Thursday, because we're going to have a representative to talk about housing, that can answer all those questions. But at least that's how you can go about going into My Housing link in order to make your reservation for housing.
I think that might have been all the questions that we had in the chat. So if folks would like to unmute themselves and ask a question, they're definitely feel free to do that. There's also more opportunity to drop your questions into the chat if you'd like to do that, but I want to make sure that I give folks some time and space to ask their questions themselves if they would like.
I got a question.
Sure, go ahead, Cameron.
So I go to Hartnell right now, and if I took a summer class this semester, would I be able to get it transferred once I go to CSUMB in fall? Or how would that work?
Yes, so you can actually you would need to submit your official transcript from the course that you took. So just make sure you submit it and you talk to your admission evaluator based on your alpha, and they'll be able to assist you to make sure that it goes into your file.
Okay, cool.
I got a question, direct message to me. If someone decides they want to start in the spring instead of the fall, do they need to apply again, or is there a specific process?
Yeah, so they will need to reapply for the term that they're considering reapplying for. But yeah, so unfortunately the enrollment confirmation is not refundable. So that's something that, to consider, but just to make sure that you can, reapply, but you will need to actually pay for it again to submit your application.
I have a question. I know that the housing department's going to be available on Thursday, but for example, I already applied for housing. So when you apply, do you know when you would hear back? The thing is that I have a 5-year-old that will be, my daughter will be moving with me. And so is there anything like moving in earlier than expected date to look for school and all of that for her?
Yeah, my suggestion would be to contact housing directly. We would hate to give you the wrong information. So I would say just contact them either by email or by phone. They're actually pretty helpful if you call them by phone. So, and they can actually, talk to you about the different options that you may have.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I saw a question in the chat about how to receive our emails, our Tuesdays with Monty newsletter. Please know that we don't know how to reach out to you until you have confirmed. And we will continue to send you that information. And even once you've confirmed, you'll have access to previous information in newsletters. But up until that point, we're unable to add you to our listserv. So that's the best way to get involved and to really be up to date on information is to pay that enrollment confirmation. And then you'll start to receive those newsletters and that information at times that makes sense. We'll be reminding you of important deadlines.
That's a really good reminder from Casey. 2 takeaways, if you don't remember or take away anything else, is make sure if you haven't already, you do your enrollment confirmation. That deadline is quickly approaching. And then after you do that, you'll be able to make sure that you register for orientation. And if you do those 2 things, you'll get all the information that you need to and all the resources and the connections that you might be missing otherwise. The other thing is if you've already done your enrollment confirmation, you can join the Transfer Student Success Center MyRAF group. And if one of the peer mentors will drop the invitation to our MyRAF group into the chat. This is a group in MyRAF that is just specifically for transfer students. And this is where throughout the year, the peer mentors are posting information about resources, dates and deadlines, our social and our academic events that we host, and just other information that is really important to transfer students. So if you've already completed enrollment confirmation, you have access to MyRAF 24 to 48 hours after that. And so you can go in there, join our group, and really be ahead of kind of all the information that you're going to be getting, not only from next semester, but all the things that we're going to send for the rest of this semester and also through the summer, including during orientation. There's a question, can I register for classes for this summer? If I can, how do I do that? I think maybe I take that. Or do you want to take that, Eddie?
No, go for it.
Casey was also smiling. I don't know if Casey wanted to answer that question. No? So you can't take a summer class as a matriculated student because your matriculation is going to be for the fall. But you can take a summer class through what's known as Open University, which is a program where anybody who, in the community can take a class as long as it's space dependent, as long as there's space in the class. And so if I can have one of the peer mentors look for extended education and drop the Open University link into the chat, that'll give you more information about how to go about that. Contact those folks. They have all the information about how somebody could go about registering for a summer class before they're actually a CSUMB student.
These have been really, really great questions. And please, when we list our contact information, we mean it. Reach out to us. My office or Jacinto's can kind of be a catch-all for you all. So if you're kind of unsure of your question, but you still want to make sure that it gets answered, please reach out to us. My email is orientation@csumb.edu, and we'll be sure that we direct that question to the right department if we don't happen to know the answer. But you all have been having really great questions. Are there any others?
There's a question in the chat that says, if we have Bank Mobile for Cabrillo, do we need to sign in again for CSUMB? I'm not really completely sure what that question is addressing. So I don't know if that's maybe an Alma question.
Yes, so you would need to contact Bank Mobile directly. I believe they can just switch to CSUMB, but I'm not sure how they go about that or what is the requirement. So definitely reach out to them, let them know you're transferring schools, and they'll give you guidance what to do.
And so if one of the pre-mentors could drop the campsite bio link again, just like Casey said, we're here to help, support, answer questions. Even if you're not sure if we should be the right person you contact, we could always guide you in the right direction and put you in contact with whoever it is that you need to help you with your question or your concern. So we want to make sure that transfer students engage in support seeking behavior very early on. So you just get used to reaching out for support and getting help, because that's the way you're going to be successful here at CSUMB. There is a question. As a transfer student, we pay the undergrad enrollment fee, correct?
Eddie, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the answer is yes. Every incoming student, regardless of if you're a first-time freshman or a transfer, pays enrollment confirmation.
That's correct. Yes, you're right.
So we have a few more minutes, and we can definitely stick around if people have questions that they want to ask, to either anybody individually or to the group to see. So feel free to unmute yourself, ask the question, or drop that question into the chat.
Hi. I have a question. Can you hear me? Cool. So I joined a little late, so I'm sorry if I missed this already, but where would I go to figure out what classes I should be registering for as a transfer for my major? Would that happen after I still have to admit, but I still have to pay the enrollment fee, but I'm just wondering the best way to figure out kind of like my course schedule and the path.
Yeah, great question. All of that typically happens around the time of orientation and shortly thereafter. During orientation, you meet with your academic advisor and you start to talk about those sorts of things. And then after the fact, if you need any one-on-one counseling or advising with your major specific plan, they can help you out. There's also Zoom availability at that time. And it'll be a great resource to help you.
Cool. Thank you so much. And then just really quickly, with the $100 enrollment fee we were just discussing, I know it said it could take up to a week to process, but if I were to pay that, let's say on Wednesday, would that still be fine if it's not processed right away? Or do you know?
Yeah, it usually takes about 2 business days. So, so if, let's say if you make the payment, it would probably take about 2 days after you make the payment, just to make sure that it kind of activates or, it recognizes you that you're in the system. And that's when you'll be able to kind of take a look at your My Housing link. And also you can go to MyRef and register for new student orientation.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
And so there was a question in the chat about how to navigate to the enrollment confirmation page. So if one of the peer mentors could drop that link to the EC page again, there it is. You can do that. It's quick and easy. Make sure you do it as soon as you can. Other questions? Or things that people are excited about? We also want to know how excited you are to be coming to CSUMB in the fall. So if you want to share really anything, questions or excitement or concerns, now's the time to do it.
Hello, my name is Diana, and I wanted to know, will orientation be available virtually and in person?
Hi, great question. So there are 2 in-person orientation dates, and we highly, highly recommend attending them in person. It's just really a great way to get connected, to ask your questions in a really fantastic way to physically see the spaces and the campus where you'll be attending. And plus, there's great energy on campus. Now, if any of our 2 in-person dates don't work for you, there is a virtual session that will be offered on Tuesday, I believe the 21st. And that is intended for anybody who's an international student, living out of state, or traveling from a far distance. So there is still an option for virtual, but there are 2 in-person dates as well.
Can you please clarify where I can find the information to register for orientation?
I'll drop the link in the chat.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions in the chat? Miranda or Maddie?
Awkward. So just a confirmation, I think the $140 confirmation fee needs to be paid upon registration.
What was the question one more time? I think it was for me.
Sorry, the $140 for the orientation needs to be paid upon registration.
Great question. It doesn't need to be paid right now. It is what we call a category 2 fee, meaning it's automatically assessed to every student regardless of if you attend or not. What does need to be paid and is mandatory and will impact whether or not you can register for orientation is the $100 enrollment confirmation. That's due very soon. Please submit that. And then the other fee is a $40 guest fee. So if you're bringing any supporters or guests with you to orientation, that needs to be paid before orientation begins. All other fees will be assessed, and you're expected to pay them by August 1st, which is your payment deadline.
Thank you. We had another question about orientation. Do they need to bring anything like paperwork?
Sometimes, especially for our transfer students, it's great to have maybe like your unofficial transcript with you if you have any specific questions about your planning. But it's also something that specifically we'll address in an upcoming newsletter that we send out when we get closer to orientation. We'll supply you with some questions to be thinking about, things to get answered while you're here on campus, and other considerations. So just please keep an eye out for those newsletters. We'll remind you of some good things to bring with you, all important logistics. We don't currently have the schedule up on the website, but soon it'll be on there so you can see what to really expect throughout the day.
Thank you. And if someone has already paid their enrollment fee, but they decide they don't want to attend CSUMB, who do they contact letting them know?
Great question. You can actually contact admissions@csumb.edu. You can send us an email to let us know, or you can actually do it through your dashboard. Once you let us know, then we can actually make note of that. But just know that the enrollment confirmation fee is not refundable. That is the only thing. So just make sure that you either send us an email or you can do it through your dashboard.
Thank you. Now, if someone's already signed up for orientation, can they go back and add a guest? And would it be through the same portal?
If you've already registered, you just need to edit your registration. If you're having any difficulties, you can reach out to our office and you might need to re-register, and that way you can add a guest to that registration. And then I've also included the link for anybody who needs to complete a guest payment prior to attending their orientation session.
Hi, I had a question about the guest information. is that for like if we want to have a family member go with us to orientation? Okay,
Yeah.
and are there any requirements for that person to go there?
No, any student can just attend orientation independently. And in fact, in a lot of cases, we encourage it. But also, if you have a guest that you'd like to bring with you, a significant other, a child, a parent, guardian, anything that falls under that category, a guest, just note that we are going to be providing food and a separate track entirely from you as the student. So they'll get resources that are related to them as a supporter to you. So they're not following along in the same sessions. They attend their own orientation.
Okay, thanks for the information.
Mhm. Financial aid does not cover the cost of the guest fee. However, your $140 fee might be something that would be covered by financial aid, depending on your award package. The guest fee needs to be paid in advance of your financial aid distribution.
I had a question DM'd to me. Sorry, just really quick. Someone's last name has changed since they got their CSUMB username. Is there a way to change it so it reflects their current last name?
Yes, we would suggest to contact your admission evaluator and provide them that information, and they'll be more than happy to kind of change it in our system. And again, it goes by alpha, so just make sure that, you know, whoever's your evaluator falls up for your last name, and that's who will be the person you can reach out to. If you need help finding out who's your admission evaluator, please reach out to admissions@csumb.edu, and we'll be more than happy. We have student assistants that can assist you with that.
And I just want to make sure I honor a comment that was put into the into the chat. This says, I'm nervous but excited for the transition from a small town to a bigger place, and also need of moving away from the mountains. So the transition, right, in this process that you're going through, definitely a lot of different emotions, right? A lot of excitement, a lot of anxiousness, nervousness. You're not sure, you know, did I make the right decision? Where am I doing? Or what am I doing? Where am I going? And those are all natural feelings and emotions, right, to be going through. And that's why we do this. We want to make sure that not only do you have the information that we know that you're going to need to be successful and be well informed, but we want to make sure that you understand that there's helpful people like all the people that you see here from CSUMB today that are going to help you through this process and be there to answer your questions and make sure everything's clear. But also that you see that there's a lot of other people just like yourselves that are coming from all these different places that probably have a lot of the same feelings that you can kind of connect with in a transfer community at CSUMB. And so we offer an opportunity to do that through the Transfer Student Success Center. Feel free to connect with us, to email us, to message us on our social media. I would also encourage people to apply for the Transfer Peer Mentee Program. So if one of the mentors can put that into the chat, the Transfer Mentee Program is where you get matched up with one of our Transfer Peer Mentors, which is a transfer student just like yourself. And they have a little bit more experience and have been through all the challenges and successes, and they can share information with you, especially that first semester when you need help and you don't know what OASIS is and you forgot how to check for a hold and all those other things that you're going to have challenges with. You can check in with your transfer peer mentor and they can help you with all that process, in addition to just checking in with them on a regular basis and them helping give you advice about what it's like to be a transfer student at CSUMB. Really a good experience to have your first semester. And so I would encourage everybody to fill out that form and get matched up with a peer mentor. The other thing I want to say is I really appreciate that this group has been super engaged. I got a message on our Slack from one of our other peer mentors who's not in attendance right now. And to quote, she says, I don't know what's going on, but there's hella people signing up for the Transfer MyRAF group. And so that means that everybody is engaged and checking in and signing up for all the different things that are going to help support them through this transfer journey. So I appreciate that. We're over time, so I want to respect all the folks here that are providing this information for you all. So I want to go ahead and sign off and say thank you for coming. Again, before I do that, I want to make sure that I let you know that this is being recorded. We're going to send this out as soon as it's uploaded into YouTube, which will be in the next day or two. Be sure you watch this back if you have questions, whether it's for, to get somebody's contact information or to just go through all the information that was presented, or some of these really good questions that people have asked that are a little more particular. Check that out. And then if you have questions or concerns, let us know. But I want to thank everybody for coming today. So once again, if folks could give a round of applause to our presenters, Eddie, Alma, and Casey. Thanks a lot so much for all your information and for all the resources that you provided for students today. Thanks a lot. Let me give you a round of applause there too. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. And don't forget to attend tomorrow's sessions and the whole week sessions. And so we'll see you soon. Have a good evening.
Thanks everyone for being here.